I take responsibility for trusting the word of a neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years many times, and that when they said, well, we're able to accommodate people one person at a time, and that we can set up that time, I trusted that. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Nancy Pelosi is bad at politics, guys. That's the only reason she would make a statement like that. That was basically Pelosi taking no responsibility for what she did yesterday. Now, if you haven't heard, she went to a hair salon, even though in San Francisco, California, no regular person has been able to do that. That those businesses have been closed down, and rightfully so for public health and safety, but Pelosi went anyway. She wasn't wearing a mask. She wasn't doing the things that she's been asking regular people to do. And this isn't the biggest story. I don't think this deserved to dominate a news cycle, but the fact of the matter is it did show hypocrisy from Nancy Pelosi, and much like her ice cream fridge story from a few months ago, it showed that she's out of touch, and that when push comes to shove, elite corporate Democrats like her don't understand working class people and the lives they have to live. That Pelosi can go get her hair done in a private salon, basically, while everyone else can't. And while other hairstylists and other workers are out on the job, they're out of a job, Pelosi can make sure that she looks her best for being on the camera. Regular people be damned. And that's wrong. And while people were worried about putting food on the table and staying in their homes, being able to keep their tables, she was bragging about fancy ice cream and how she couldn't survive without it. It's awful politics that just empowers disingenuous right-wing populism because they don't care about working class people, but they can at least look like they do more than Nancy freaking Pelosi does when she acts like this. And as I, noted on social media when I talked about this yesterday, I said this also really, erodes trust in the need to shut things down. That sort of thing, which I support. And, being in Canada, our shutdown was more universal, more total, more strict. And it's one of the reasons why we're able to leave the shutdown earlier than many parts of the United States, is that we did it and we committed. But the fact of the matter is it only works if there's social solidarity and trust. And when you see other people going to places that you can't go or you're told not to go, not wearing, protective equipment and all these sorts of things, you start to think to yourself, at least subconsciously, why am I sacrificing while others get to live their lives as per usual? And that's with anybody, but especially when you look at the rich and wealthy and well-connected, and especially when those rich and wealthy and well-connected people have power in Congress to pass some of the laws that have been making these decisions. And so Nancy Pelosi, on the one hand, admonishing people correctly again to wear masks and to socially distance and to do all those things. And then when it comes to her personal comforts, she can while away in her house with her fancy ice creams and go to her salon while no one else can. It's just tailor-made to delegitimize the very real need for us to stay home as much as possible. Because now you're going to have disingenuous Republicans say, Nancy Pelosi wants you to stay home shuttered away while she gallivants around town, proving that the lockdown isn't needed. When really what it proves is the lockdown's needed. Pelosi's just a huge hypocrite. And she's not doing what she's asking regular people, and in some cases commanding regular people to do. And putting all of that aside, even if you're one of these people that thinks Pelosi didn't do anything wrong, it wasn't illegal, I think there's a debate about whether or not it was legal, and I'm not a lawyer. The point is, it was certainly politically stupid to do, and it was even stupider to keep the news story going. Like, the story was going to eventually fade away. There's so much news happening right now with the election and everything else that this was going to go away by tomorrow, probably. Certainly by Friday, everyone was going to forget this, at least most people. But now Pelosi is effectively blaming the hair salon, saying they set me up, which is going to create this conspiracy theory that the salon that's in her neighborhood created a scenario to set her up to get footage of her at the salon so they could help Donald Trump. It's like something you would hear Trump talk about when he's rambling on about soup. It's the Democratic Party version of a Trump conspiracy theory. And this is the sort of thing that's going to keep it in the news cycle. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I wasn't going to really bother to make a video about this story. I thought about doing it last night. I sort of started to do it, but realized, it's not the best story. But now it's a real story because Pelosi made it all about herself and how she's the goddamn victim here, and nothing could be further from the truth. Legal or not, whatever she was told, Pelosi had to know this made her look out of touch, and it gave her the opportunity to do something regular working class people can't. Coming into an election, she should know better.